Ooh. Ha. I haven't thought of anything to say. When I think of something, it'll flow. For a minute, just breathe with me. Stop and breathe. And listen to the wind and the birds. The graze of wind against my leg and my thigh, standing my little hair follicles on edge. Somebody sweeping in the distance. A harsh rustle in the leaves of a far tree. I feel a slight grumbly feeling in my tummy under my left rib. Oh, my hair is tickling my face. My hair is standing up on edge. An itch in my lip. Gotta get that one. Whew, the sun pressing through my eyelids. What else do I feel? What do you feel in your body when you stop? I feel slight gravel tickling the back of my leg from the ground. My bobby pins pressing into my skull, my scalp. I feel thoughts coming in of wanting to pay the electricity bill or schedule my next nail salon appointment. as I touch my fingertips and feel that they're starting to grow out. But I'm going back to feel inside of my body. I feel in my womb, my lower abdomen, a movement, a pulsing. And it's enveloping my lower half of my body. Yeah, these bobby pins, they're infringing on my peace. Boom. Goodbye. Hummingbird. And 7 minutes has passed by just like that. And it's time to put on my sunglasses because now it's hurting me. Oh, oh yeah. Now I want the salad. Some cutie oranges. This is pray. This is praying. This is prayer. And my brain isn't activated anymore, so my words are like, it's fun. Do you hear that? That air blower, the blower, leaf blower in the distance across the canyon there? That's a neighbor of mine in my neighborhood. Well, he lives kind of far away, but he kept pausing and looking over in my direction. He was interrupting his hard work. He was in his work flow space, all in his head, strategizing, planning, time management, making sure to stay on track. And then, before he knows it, there's a woman standing on the ledge across the canyon. And she's just sitting there with her chin pressed against her neck. And then she moves slightly this way. She moves slightly this way. And then her head goes up like this and faces the sun. And she's just standing there. And he doesn't know why he feels so good inside of his own body. There's no thoughts of what is she doing? That lady looks crazy. He starts the blower back up, gets back to work. You can hear the broom, and then the sound stops again, and he's looking over my way again. Just pausing and looking. So it becomes almost hypnotic. And then I sit down. She sits. She has nowhere to be. She has nowhere to go. No deadlines to fill. Who is she? Why does this inspire me? Why can I feel my energy improving right as I speak, right as I stand here? I'm becoming more efficient as I do nothing. And then he says, I never really looked at this canyon before. I've seen it many times, but I've never looked at it. I've never seen it. Never witnessed this canyon before in all the decades I've lived here, or I come here once every week to do my client's landscaping, and I've never heard the birds. I've only ever heard the blower. I've only ever heard my own thoughts. I've never heard the wind rustling through the trees. I've only ever considered how the wind will impact my performance. And then I look over across this canyon and there's a woman standing there. She's just there, no performance necessary. Why is she so beautiful? She's covered in a coat. Hair is a mess. Her no makeup on. Can't see what she looks like from a distance. But as she stays still, effortlessly, I'm moved. He says, I'm being moved. My energy's moving through me just in seeing the stillness and silence and reverence to the sun and to her life force, her life. And that's prayer. That's prayer, to be able to stop and not pray in your head, but to surrender in the moment, to say with your actions or with your inactions, I trust everything around me and all things. I trust life. I trust God. I trust everything's working out the way it's supposed to, and it will. Everything is working for me. Everything works for my soul's evolution. Outcomes don't matter. Outcomes don't matter in terms of eternity. That deadline, that person that hasn't texted you back, or that person you're worried about hurting their feelings because you haven't texted them back, or you just need some distance and time and space to come back down to earth and limit your expectations back to a place where you were wild and free and beaming and glowing. Out of your head and into your body. Anticipation. Kind of sounds like anti-patience, huh? Anticipation, anti-patience, against patience. It's like anticipation. When he or she needs some time and space and distance, and they say that, they don't make you wonder. Your lover, your boyfriend, your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your lover, your friend, as it were. We want to maintain a relationship so much. We want to keep it together. The outcome is what matters. We don't want to lose it, but we want to be able to live our life in the moment, be present with our life, and also stay focused, stay efficient. Don't let any of the pieces fall apart. We're overwhelmed in options. Back in the day, there used to be one woman, you'd court her, or one man, and he'd court you, and your options were kind of limited. It was hard work to develop a relationship. And now, people are terrified to start a real relationship with somebody because there's so many options. It's terrifying. What if she's not the one? What if he's not right? That's the wrong question to be asking. Your relationship, is it possible that your relationship with patience and anticipation, and either anticipating something romantic and concrete developing out of a lover relationship, you're anticipating him building a fence around your relationship, building boundaries to keep it, to build the relationship a home for it to exist in. You're anticipating that because of the feelings, but it's not coming. But you know yourself, and you know, I know that I'm afraid that there are so many billions of other options out there, literally billions. But that's an algorithm. That's a statistic, an algorithm. What's the word? I don't know. That's an algorithm I don't want to play in. I don't like the concept of too many options. I just like you. And you say, you're enough. you're actually enough. And the life I have without you is enough. That's why I'm able to recognize when someone's enough. I'm enough. I'm enough. And there's a real strength in being able to say, I don't feel safe that you are terrified of not having options. I am not a match as much as I thought I was. Two people coming together saying, I like the life I've built, I'm content. I'm not looking outward at all the options, at all these options I'm not currently in. I want what's right in front of me, what's happening right now. This is where I'm supposed to be as I continue to move. The stillness of being with what I already have and not participating in the algorithms and the news feeds and the streams, the stories that ever moving, ever more efficient, ever more personalized for what the media and technology thinks that you want. It's always that one little thing that's showing up out of nowhere, unexpectedly. Just pops up and it's right in front of you. Hi. It's like people, so many millions and millions of Americans at least, or anywhere around the world, saying, I need a break, I'm so tired, I've been working my butt off, I need a vacation, or I just need a staycation at home, I need to relax. I've been working for decades, I'm tired. And then we hear on the news, you need to stay home. And there's outrage. They suddenly can't sit still. The stillness, your relationship with just being is toxic, or rather it's just underdeveloped. You have drug addictions, methamphetamines of different various sorts, and cocaine activates your mind into overdrive so that you aren't even aware how active you are. You're all turbo, you're all adrenaline, no beingness. And in that state of being high on those specific kinds of drugs, you are able to be. That is your relationship with beingness, is in the movement, the steady movement. That's the one thing you know for sure about your life, is that this substance inside of my body creates movement that I'm comfortable with. Drugs like heroin, opioids, they bring you down into your physical feeling body. They allow you to perceive your body as feeling warm and safe and good, well-beingness. Your body finally feels like a safe haven that you can relax into and feel your beingness. But that is also not beingness. That is it's a prison. Because to be able to stop, not make a YouTube video out of your meditations, and this isn't about exercise. This is about, I see girls and guys at the beach doing yoga and stuff, and they're looking at their phones, either to record it or to see the instructions of how to do it. Just being with yourself, letting your body release. We have to actually teach ourselves how to just relax and release. It's really hard for us. When we're driving in our cars, a lot of us make jokes about how we go into autopilot, and we go into this place where we don't remember going from point A to point B. And we think that that's funny, that that's a commonality amongst humans, but it's actually a sign of over-functioning. It's a sign of having too many options. You might drive a lot and you have to be on the phone with somebody. You have to be listening to podcasts, YouTube, even music. You cannot be in the beingness of sitting still while also moving in a vehicle. You can't stop. Because to be, the more that we exercise beingness, just being here, doing what I did, you feel the tickles on your face for 5 minutes. You start with 5 or 6 minutes a day. You hear the sound of leaves, you hear birds, you hear, you let your baby cry for a few minutes in the crib, and you just don't think about what it is that the baby wants. For a few minutes, you let the baby just be in its experience, and you are taking care of that baby when it's crying. You just hear it in the distance. You're just hearing it. You're not making anything of it. There's no stimulus response. There's no action to make it stop. It just is. The baby is just being, and right from birth we start corrupting beingness. We have to teach beingness out of the baby, out of the child. We have to implement doingness. But we are human beings, not human doings. When we are just being, we are reminded of some kind of unfillable, what we think is some unfillable void, and it is so uncomfortable that we destroy our own lives. We do outlandish things. We fill our minds with grandiose fantasies. We fantasize about all the things we'd like to be doing, and we create all these things that we don't implement. Because to actually implement them, there's a space where you have to access beingness first, and they don't know how to do that. We don't know how to do that without discomfort. We live our lives in movement due to fear. We do not trust anybody. But then somebody like me can come along and remind you that you're just not in control, and it's okay to just let go for a few minutes. It's okay to walk away from a relationship. It's okay or a relationship that's not coming together the way, you know yourself at your core. You know what's right for you at your core. You know that you have access to God at your core, worst case scenario and best case scenario. You've done this. You've repeated certain cycles. Yeah, I could continue to continue that relationship that isn't actually forming with boundaries. I could continue with a person who isn't comfortable with just being. Who's taking in so much of the stream, the noise, the not enoughness, the options, the algorithms. I could continue because it feels good most of the time, but anticipating every day, knowing they're going to call me and reach out, text me, and there is an expectation of a response. Even if I have nothing to say, the expectation that I have some algorithmic personality that matches with what they're used to, it's just not the case. And it's that anticipation, knowing they're going to do that, it takes me out of my life. And I think, I know for myself, I want a relationship because it takes that anticipation and makes it into something healthier. Creates safety instead of chase and anticipation and creating a personality based around another person in which you find that you've lost yourself in because you don't actually know yourself. You're just living in an algorithm. You're living in the movement of energy and time and other people's ideas, and you're living in a reality, a paradigm that none of those people can stop. And if someone's meeting me, man or woman, if they're meeting me in their life, a lot of it is their soul is saying, I just want to be enough. I am enough. Somewhere in their mind, in their heart, in an action they took recently before meeting me, they struck a chord. They struck up a awareness of just their own beingness being enough. And I showed up. And that's how that works. Because I think that's kind of how I am. And my job is to start doing more. And, I'm content. And there's it's not just either or. And I also want to fill up that green patch with vegetables and flowers. And so I'm going to do it by myself. But I would really like to do it with a male. I would really like to do that with my daughter or their children. Because I don't think I'm going to have any more babies. But I would, if I could. But I'm almost 30 and I don't think, I think my body has actually been through a lot in my life. And I can feel, I don't know, I need to exercise more maybe. I need to actually, maybe I need to move more. I move a lot. I walk 2 to 5 miles every day in the evening usually. I do that. And that's how I keep my weight off, which makes me feel better, And what I'm talking about beingness, just being one with what is happening with you in your body, literally the sensations, and not thinking. You don't need to use language. You don't need to use your brain you don't need to use like your thinking brain to come up with basic language of like, I feel tickle. I feel growling in my tummy. I feel, that you don't need, the words come up, We don't need to think if we see a big scary bear in the forest. We don't need to think about running away. Our brain doesn't think, that's a bear. Bear kills. I run. No, that's the language coming up in those small moments of just being and feeling. That's instinctual. The words coming up are instinctual. You're not actually thinking. And see, when you turn all the language off, it's through turning all that language off in your head, the different scenarios, the different things you could say to get your way. Stop doing that. You know what happens when you do that? You practice turning that off, turning the volume all the way down as quickly as you want. You don't need to constantly be reminded. You actually prefer that space. What do they call that? The liminal space? I don't know. I'm going to look that up. God doesn't have to work so hard. You don't have to work so hard. You don't have to practice some devout religion, rituals and stuff like that to access talking to God and hearing God and feeling your own creation and creator. It's like contemplating God all the time it does please God, but to know God is to stop being human for a few minutes, to stop your cognition, to lose control. And even if you don't believe in God, something activates in your energetic body when you turn your mind off for as little as 5 minutes a day and feel what you are. Feel your primal force. So when you get to know that feeling in you after a few times of doing this, you can tell when your body is alive, even when you're thinking. So there's a mind-body-spirit connection. And there's no way you can deny your enoughness. There's no way. And your harsh words about yourself, this narrative about others and yourself, stops. It stops being, you stop being as available to it. You also stop being as available to fear of dying, to fear. And so you honor and reverence your aliveness. I talk about that a lot, I know. Anyways, I just wanted to share that today, and I hope it helped some people. It's okay to let go. I think the wind is going to mess up the mic. Sorry. It's okay to let go of a job that forces you, compromises your beingness. It's okay to, they exploit your fear of not doing, they exploit your fear of not having the external things that remind you of your beingness. No. You get in touch and get to know God and get to know your beingness, and people can't control you. And you're also very loving. You just say truth. The things that you say might hurt somebody. It might sound harsh in the moment, but if they were to connect to their beingness, they would see that that was the truth, and that's okay. There wasn't a value judgment what I say. It just is. It is what it is. And we have to learn to be okay with other people's observations, and then value judgment, saying maybe that's not a match for me. I'm not at all saying that it's wrong in any way. It's just not a match. Anyways, you guys, that felt really good to feel out there. I love the canyon. I love to share it with you guys so that you can have some access to it. And all right, I'm making monkey bread with my child. Well, I'm making it alone so far, but I'm going to teach her how to knead dough. And so then we are going to be planting a garden. We're going to start with these little starting containers here. I got a bunch of veggies and vegetables, fruits, catnip, potting mix, all that. I'm excited. Gloves so my hands don't get dirty. Okay, I love you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Like this video, because that really helps other people see it. It helps other people, even if it's just a few extra people. Maybe they really needed whatever that I just said. Maybe it tells YouTube that the video should circulate, because that's the way it works. That's the paradigm that's the platform I'm trying to build on right now. So I have to kind of play by those rules. So go ahead, like, share, comment how you're doing today, how you feel. Name a few things you feel in the comments if you did the meditation, or things you heard. What are you letting go of today? Just today, just this hour, what can you suspend and let go for a few minutes? Tell me in the comments one simple word, or just a feeling you're letting go of. Even if it's just you're promising to let that feeling go for 5 minutes, or that control or that outcome, let it go for 5 minutes and tell me what it is in the comments, okay? Thank you. Have a great weekend. Have a good weekend, okay? Bye.